greatly privileged to bear during so much of my life and duty.
I'm 75 now, and I can't remember.
Who could have imagined that after decades of unwavering loyalty, Queen Camilla would be left out of King Charles's will? This shocking decision by His Majesty sent shockwaves through the palace, leaving Camilla speechless. What could have led to such a dramatic choice? And how does this impact their relationship? Stay with us as we uncover the behind-the-scenes of this royal drama. When news broke that King Charles had excluded Queen Camilla from his will, it stunned everyone. How could the man who fought for decades to be with her now leave her out of such a crucial decision? Let's start by examining the recent tensions within the royal couple. Behind the walls of Buckingham Palace, silent conflicts have been brewing for months. For a couple that once symbolized love against all odds, this growing tension caught even their closest advisors off guard. Rumors began circulating about a widening rift between King Charles and his queen consort, one so deep it threatened their 20-year marriage. The main reason? Charles's stubbornness, his declining health, and a royal schedule so demanding it would exhaust a man half his age. "He doesn't listen to her anymore," a source told the National Enquirer. For Camilla, this wasn't just a marital spat. It was a genuine crisis. Once, she was the one voice Charles always listened to, but now she feels sidelined, her pleas falling on deaf ears. Camilla, who has known Charles for over 50 years, has always been his greatest supporter. But now, her loyalty is tinged with fear of watching her husband work himself to death. Since his cancer diagnosis earlier this year, Charles's determination to fulfill his royal duties has only intensified. At 75, he endures exhausting chemotherapy treatments yet stubbornly refuses to slow down. "She's begged him time and time again to take it easy," a close source revealed. She even tried convincing him to postpone his upcoming state visit to Australia, but Charles wouldn't hear of it. "There's no point in being king if you don't act like one," he insists. To Camilla, his obstinance is incomprehensible. From the outside, the king's dedication may seem admirable, but to those close to him, it borders on recklessness. Charles is convinced that the monarchy must remain visible to stay relevant. After waiting 70 years to ascend the throne, he is determined to leave his mark while he still can. He knows he'll never match his mother, Queen Elizabeth II, but that doesn't stop him from trying. His mantra? "No matter the cost to my health, the crown comes first." Tensions reached a boiling point during what was meant to be a relaxing stay at Balmoral Castle in Scotland. Charles had just undergone another round of chemotherapy. Barely had he unpacked when he was already boarding another plane. His sudden departure shocked everyone, especially Camilla. He had just attended the traditional welcoming ceremony, and a few hours later, he was gone, alone. His destination? Southport, a town in mourning after an unimaginable tragedy. 3 young children were murdered during a dance class themed around Taylor Swift. The king met privately with the grieving families before returning to London for more cancer treatments, then heading back to Balmoral as if nothing had happened. For Camilla, this was the breaking point. She was furious, a close source said. She had begged him not to cut short their stay, knowing how much his hectic schedule was taking a toll on his health. But Charles, as always, ignored her warnings. The mounting stress and frustration eventually took their toll on Camilla. Far from the reviled mistress blamed for breaking up Diana's marriage, she had fought her entire life to be accepted alongside Charles. The thought of watching him collapse, of becoming a widow, and being left alone, terrified her. "She's panicking," a royal insider revealed. "Charles has lost weight, he's visibly weaker, his condition is deteriorating, yet he won't listen." But it's not just Charles's health that worries Camilla. She's also anxious about her own future within the palace. If Charles were to pass away, what would her role be? Her influence? Her place in the royal family, for which she has fought so hard to belong. When Charles finally returned from his trip, the atmosphere at Balmoral was icy. "It felt like walking on thin ice," a witness described. Camilla barely spoke to him. She felt ignored, pushed aside, stripped of her role as his partner. But Charles remained unmoved. To him, slowing down would mean failure. And he knows that all eyes are already on Prince William and Princess Kate. According to sources, the public wants to see the younger generation take charge. With Kate herself battling cancer, Charles feels immense pressure to keep the monarchy strong. He refuses to show any sign of weakness. Camilla, however, sees things differently. She wants him to prioritize his health, an insider explained. She watches day by day how chemotherapy drains him, but Charles won't listen. He is the king, he's in control, and no one, not even Camilla, can tell him otherwise. As if the tension between them wasn't enough, another bombshell dropped. Charles excluded Camilla from his will. For a woman who stood by him through decades of scandals, criticism, and challenges, this felt like the ultimate betrayal. But this wasn't a spur-of-the-moment decision. Sources reveal it had been in the works for months. Camilla was blindsided, a close confidant shared. After everything she went through to become queen, it felt like a slap in the face. It made her feel as if all those years of loyalty meant nothing. And Charles? He stands firm in his choice. Behind this decision lies Charles's unwavering commitment to safeguarding the future of the monarchy. By leaving his estate and legacy primarily to his heir, Prince William, and his children, he ensures the royal line remains strong. Charles sees this as his duty, the source explained. Camilla, on the other hand, feels utterly betrayed. She is furious that he has completely disregarded her concerns. She was always his voice of reason, the one who could calm him down, a close friend of the couple shared. But now, he's shutting her out, and it's driving a deep wedge between them. For Charles, the crown comes before all else. For Camilla, it feels like she's losing the man she loves, and she's powerless to stop it. There is something profoundly heartbreaking about watching someone you love work themselves into the ground. Since ascending the throne, his relentless schedule and unwavering sense of duty have only deepened Camilla's worry. She has always been his steady presence, his rock. But lately, her concern has transformed into a much deeper fear. And behind her measured smiles and carefully chosen words lies another worry, one she dares not voice, the fear of an uncertain future. Camilla isn't ready to face this reality just yet. It's no secret that if King Charles's health were to worsen, Queen Camilla would not become the reigning monarch. And that's precisely the issue. Camilla's position within the monarchy is entirely dependent on Charles. Although she currently holds the title of Queen Consort, this status only reflects her role as the king's wife, not as a ruler. If the unthinkable were to happen and King Charles's life were tragically cut short, Camilla would bear a very different title, Queen Dowager. It sounds official, doesn't it? Yet, this title merely identifies her as the widow of a king, a woman left behind as the monarchy moves forward. And it would move directly towards Prince William, the current Prince of Wales. The rules of succession have been set in stone for centuries, shaped by history and enshrined in law. Since the Norman conquest of England in the 11th century, the notion of succession by bloodline has prevailed. It was later formalized through documents like the Bill of Rights of 1689, the Act of Settlement of 1701, and more recently, the Succession to the Crown Act of 2013. One thing has always been clear: the spouses of reigning monarchs do not inherit the throne. Their role is to stand beside their partner, not to take their place. Thus, if Charles's diagnosis were to prove fatal, Camilla would join the long list of royal widows who lived out their days as symbolic figures without any decision-making power. History has already borne witness to this. Take Queen Adelaide, for example. When her husband, King William IV, died in 1837, she became Queen Dowager. Like Charles and Camilla, William and Adelaide had no children together. Therefore, the throne passed to William's niece, a young woman we now know as the legendary Queen Victoria. There's also Joan of Navarre, who became Queen Dowager after her husband, King Henry IV, passed away. As stepmother to King Henry V, she never wielded any influence over his reign. In both cases, these women were respected but quickly sidelined, their influence fading the moment their husbands drew their last breath. Today, Camilla faces a similar fate. After years of overcoming public criticism and establishing herself in Charles's world, the thought of becoming Queen Dowager must feel like everything she's built risks fading into obscurity. She transformed from the other woman to Queen Consort, shining at Charles's coronation. But with the illness looming over her husband, one question remains. What will become of her when her title becomes nothing more than a footnote in royal history? Some believe this looming reality is fueling the tensions between the couple. After all, Camilla knows all too well what it means to live under public scrutiny, to be misunderstood, and to feel powerless. If Charles is exhausting himself to the extreme, it might be because he feels the weight of his legacy. But Camilla bears a different burden, the weight of uncertainty. Without Charles, her world would crumble. The monarchy would continue to move forward, leaving her behind, as Prince William ascends to the throne. Charles's illness, therefore, doesn't only threaten his life, it threatens Camilla's place in history. Today, she watches her husband carry the weight of the crown, while silently bearing her own fears. And perhaps, just perhaps, that's why she's so deeply distressed. Because if Charles pushes himself to death, Camilla won't just lose her husband. She'll lose everything she fought for. But on top of the already palpable tension between Camilla and Charles, another storm is brewing behind the scenes, the royal villa scandal. A scandal that could very well be the breaking point influencing some of the king's most critical decisions. The royal villa, a historic property carefully preserved by the monarchy for generations, is now at the center of a major controversy. And at the heart of this turmoil is Queen Camilla, who made a move so bold and unexpected that even the most seasoned royal watchers were left speechless. Here are the facts. Despite King Charles's clear directive that the royal villa was to remain under the joint ownership of the family, Camilla decided otherwise. Without prior consultation or agreement, she took exclusive control of the property, effectively removing it from the shared royal family estate. Her justification? She reportedly felt that this villa should belong exclusively to her, without any interference or obligation to share. But there's a significant issue. The royal villa plays a central role in royal traditions, serving as a venue for royal gatherings and important family events. Her move was not only seen as bold, but was also deemed unauthorized and, worse yet, illegal according to royal protocol. Unsurprisingly, this matter has deeply troubled King Charles, weighing heavily on his mind, especially as he contemplates his legacy and the provisions of his will. But the person most affected by Camilla's controversial decision is Princess Anne. To say she was displeased would be an understatement. "That villa doesn't belong to her," she reportedly told close confidants. "It belongs to the monarchy, not to an individual." What makes Anne's reaction even more significant is that she had always supported Camilla, and has never been one to hold back her words, yet she had repeatedly praised her sister-in-law. In a BBC documentary titled Charles III, The Coronation, which aired last year, and spoke highly of Camilla's role within the monarchy. "I've known her for a long time, on and off, and her commitment to her role and the impact she has on the king are absolutely remarkable," she said. She even acknowledged how well Camilla had grown into her role as queen, stating, "It's not a role that came naturally to her, but but she's doing really well. She brings that necessary change of pace and tone. Yet despite her past praise, and didn't hesitate to condemn Camilla's actions this time around. And if even Anne, one of the most respected figures in the royal family, publicly questions her decisions, this could indeed mark a turning point in Camilla's relationship with the rest of the monarchy. This speaks volumes about the seriousness of the situation, and yet, amid all the chaos, Camilla seemed entirely unfazed. While the royal family dealt with the fallout of the controversy, the Queen was spotted enjoying a private evening at the theater. Even more surprising, she opted for a Ford Transit minibus instead of the state Bentley, an unexpected choice for a queen. Camilla attended a performance of Operation Mincemeat at the Fortune Theater. After the show, she returned to Clarence's house without the usual royal escort, choosing simplicity over grandeur. This low-key outing happened just as the Duke and Duchess of York reportedly cancelled their Christmas plans at Sandringham, adding another layer of intrigue to the royal drama. Yet, even if Queen Camilla appears unfazed by the recent controversy, she can't hide her underlying worry. She fears losing her role to Princess Kate. Camilla waited years to be in the royal spotlight. Always in Queen Elizabeth's shadow, she played her part with grace and patience, knowing her time would come. Now that she's finally seated on the throne beside King Charles, it's clear she's in no hurry to give up the power and influence she worked so long to gain. Of course, Camilla knows the future of the crown belongs to Prince William, but her relationship with Kate Middleton complicates this inevitable transition even more. A source close to the royal family told Us Weekly that Camilla has fully embraced her role as queen and takes it very seriously. She loves her responsibilities, the insider revealed. Being queen has always been her dream, so handing over the reins isn't an option for her, at least not yet. And here's where things get interesting. According to that same source, Camilla is particularly reluctant to delegate her duties to Kate. Why? Because their relationship has always been frosty. Tensions have existed between them for years, the insider stated. But don't think William and Kate are just standing by. The Prince and Princess of Wales have been preparing for their roles as monarchs for a long time. Insiders describe them as confident and determined to bring a welcome modernity to the monarchy. They've been preparing for this moment for years, the source added. William and Kate are more than ready to take over when their time comes. Meanwhile, Camilla's health adds another layer of complexity to this royal saga. Recently, she had to slow down her engagements due to pneumonia that left her weakened for over a month. During this time, Kate stepped in seamlessly. Last week, the princess hosted the Emir of Qatar during his official visit to the UK, taking on what would normally have been one of the Queen's duties. With her charisma and professionalism, Kate impressed everyone, including King Charles, who hosted a luncheon for the Emir himself. A royal insider told the Mirror, "The princess feels confident about the future. She is excited to represent the royal family during this visit and beyond." Her work gives her a real sense of purpose and stability in her ever-expanding role. But beware, Camilla hasn't disappeared just yet. Despite her illness, she attended the private luncheon with the Emir and made a notable appearance at the state banquet in the evening. Kate, on the other hand, chose not to attend the event, allowing Camilla to reign as the hostess of the ceremony with a style that was understated yet regal. Doctors advised the Queen to rest as much as possible, but her presence at these key events proves that she's not ready to fade into the background. After all, Camilla has waited her whole life for this moment. Yet, as Kate continues to rise in the royal hierarchy, the transition of power won't be without its challenges. Which brings us to Queen Camilla's reaction to King Charles's decision. Like everyone else, she was stunned when she heard the news. King Charles made a bold move. He removed Camilla from his will. This wasn't a decision made lightly. The villa incident, was merely the trigger for a broader reconsideration of Camilla's role within the monarchy and the consequences of her actions. By claiming the royal villa as her personal retreat, Camilla defied protocol and tradition, sending shockwaves through the family. Beyond just breaking the rules, her actions called into question the very values of the monarchy. For Charles, tradition is the cornerstone of the crown, far more than just an abstract idea. When he finally summoned Camilla to discuss his will, she wasn't expecting anything out of the ordinary. She had always felt secure at Charles's side and had no idea of what was coming. But the king's verdict was clear. She would no longer be part of his final wishes. "This is about the future of the monarchy," Charles tried to explain. Camilla was speechless. The gravity of the situation weighed heavily on her. After all, she had stood by Charles through his toughest times, not just as his wife, but also as his confidant and ally. Being excluded from his legacy felt like a betrayal she never saw coming. Charles, too, was torn by this decision. He had always protected Camilla, defending her from criticism, even within his own family. But this time, the pressure was too great. Princess Anne's unwavering stance and the persistent whispers of royal advisors left the king with few options. The villa incident had opened Pandora's box, raising countless questions about Camilla's place in the monarchy's future. Charles wasn't just a husband, he was a king, and his duty was to ensure the stability and longevity of the crown. Within the palace, opinions are divided. Some believe Charles's decision was necessary to preserve the integrity of the monarchy. Others see it as harsh and unjust, giving Camilla's unwavering loyalty over the years. But what do you think? Did King Charles make the right choice? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming royal updates. If this story captivated you, click on the next video now. Thanks for watching.